What's up, guys? Blades of God here from Hammer Bros Gaming, and we are back with part 2 of our LASO achievement guide for the Like a Fine Wine achievement in Halo Combat Evolved. Today we're going to be tackling the level Halo, which is the second level of Halo CE. So, a couple things that I realized I didn't note in our first video. A couple of the other skulls that are on. One of the important ones is Recession, which causes every shot you fire to take 2 rounds out of your ammo reserve. It doesn't mean you deal twice the damage, it just means you have half the ammo available. Another one is, another workaround that I didn't mention was for the Malfunction skull. Before you start your game, you probably want to go into a custom game in Versus, pick up a sniper rifle and zoom in, then put a piece of clear tape on your screen or monitor and trace your reticle. That way, if your reticle disappears in the campaign, you'll have a makeshift reticle. Anyway, back into it. You saw after the cutscene, we headed straight out, picked up the ammo, came over to this river, jumped on the rock, up onto this cliff, looked down at this dark spot, throw a grenade, and then you're going to do a grenade jump and crouch, which means timing is about 1, 2, after you throw your grenade, 1, 2, jump, and crouch, which means clicking your crouch stick to bring up your feet. That'll get you up onto this ledge earlier than expected. You'll skip a load zone, which stops the drop ship from coming in and the 2 Banshees from circling around. You can see that that grenade jump wiped out most of our shields, but that's okay, because what we're going to do is a very, very safe, easy way of getting through this next section. Usually there's an elite with 4 grunts right around here that you would have to take out. Because we skipped that load zone, they are no longer here. So we're going to keep moving up. You're going to come to this little ledge and drop down, just advancing through the level like normal. Be careful when you drop, because there is fall damage in Halo, and without your shields you will suffer some health damage, and we don't want that. So keep going around this corner here. You're going to see the first area where the first lifeboat is. Take a moment. There's already one drop ship down there unloading some Covenant troops. So come over to this rock and sort of hide, because there is a big turret on those, I believe they're called Spirit dropships, and it will target you if you run out in the open. So wait for it to drop off its payload of troops, then you're going to jump up on this rock, and this is where we're going to sort of set up camp for this section. You're going to want to take your time, and just like we did in the last level, look for the grunts, choose your headshots using your Magnum. The Magnum's very, very accurate. Wait for the grunts to stop moving, and then pick your shots. The grunt funeral skull, which is what causes the grunts to explode, will be your best friend here. You're going to want to try and have your grunts be near elites and kill them when they are near the elites, so the explosion can at least, if not kill them, then at least damage them. This is a long section, takes a little bit of patience, and you do have to be a little bit careful, because the enemy will every once in a while kind of advance up and take pot shots at you. You'll see later on I get shot at a little bit, but we're taking our time, picking our shots. You do want to be careful, because you have a limited amount of Magnum ammo right now. Once we clear out this first wave of enemies, you're going to be able to go up onto that structure and refill your health, your ammo, your grenades. But for now, trying to clear out this first round, you do have to be a little bit careful. You can see that because I don't have any plasma weapons or anything like that, I'm trying to take out this elite, but I am not having a lot of luck, because his shield regenerates so quickly that the damage that I do is basically being nullified by his shield regenerating. But stick with it, pick your shots. There you go, the shield just popped, and then one more to the dome is all it takes to put him down. So I'm feeling pretty confident, going to run up now, and like I said, up at the top of this structure, there's, feeling a little overconfident. But again, like I said in the last video, if you're one-on-one with an elite, all you need to do is close the gap on him, keep your reticle trained on him, and because of the black eye skull, you can basically get into a boxing match and keep your shield regenerated or full, while the elites will not regenerate that quickly. So as long as you can keep hitting them, you see I was panicking a little bit because I'm down to 1 bar of health and I lost sight of the elite. Yeah, just keep your eyes on him, keep your reticle trained on him, and keep meleeing. I was meleeing with the assault rifle, because the assault rifle is slightly faster melee-wise than the Magnum is. and it'll help you shave those few precious milliseconds off to keep your shield up. Here's that cache I was talking about. There's ammo, grenades, health. Grab what you can. Be quick about it because another dropship is on the way. Hightail it back to the rock that we were camping on before. And what we're going to do is we need to clear out, I believe it's 3. I think there's 5 total dropships that come in with Covenant reinforcements. And we need to take out 3, I think it's 3 dropships worth of reinforcements. And then we're going to manipulate some load zones to despawn the last 2. And that'll make our lives a lot easier because any enemies we don't have to deal with, like I said in the first video, any tips or tricks that are going to make our life a little bit easier, we are going to be using them. So you can see that the enemies got dropped off on the far side of that structure, and since all of our Marine friends are dead, we sadly weren't able to save any of them. Actually, there might be one left. Whatever the case, eventually all the Marines are going to die on that structure, and yep, okay, there we go. The enemy will eventually make their way over to this side where the rock is. Don't close the gap on them and engage. They will come up here. This rock gives you a good angle where you can just back up a little bit and protect yourself from any incoming fire, and it gives you a good field of view for picking off your grunts. These jackals can be a little bit of a pain. Their shields make life a little more difficult than it needs to be. Just being on LASO, they don't flinch as much, and trying to get the hand shot in that gap in the shield like you do on lower difficulties isn't nearly as effective. Plus, you don't have the ammo to be wasting on trying to pull off that shot. So again, same strategy with the jackals that we have with the elites. Try to get them grouped up with a couple of grunts, find your grunt headshots, and hope that the explosion will, if not kill the jackals, then at least break their shields and allow you to put a few rounds into the jackal and put him down for good. So here we are, we're taking out round 2 or wave 2 of the Covenant reinforcements at this first dropship. This first escape pod area. Again, I'm just taking my time, looking for those grunts. I'm missing. I am doing awful here, but trying to get those headshots. The enemy likes to gather around that rock. Usually, if you don't see anybody, the chances are they're hiding behind that tree next to the rock. And you'll see later on that once I run low on my magnum ammo, I'll actually take out the assault rifle and fire a few shots just to try to rile them up a little bit and get them to move around so I'd have a better angle and figure out who's still back there. But that jackal had an overcharged pistol shot ready to try and take down my shields, but he got wasted before he had the chance. So every round of reinforcements is going to have a set number of enemies, and in order to get the next dropship to come in, you have to get the reinforcements down. See, I wasn't paying attention right there, and I got nailed by that jackal with the overcharge shot. I thought I was safe, and I was not. As I was saying, we need to get the number of reinforcements down to 2. And when there's 2 reinforcements left, doesn't matter if it's jackals, elites, grunts, or any combination of, the next dropship will come in. And this is the 3rd dropship, I believe, that we need to clear. And once we clear, if my counting is right, I think I actually miscounted while I was filming this. That was a good explosion. Yes, that started that chain reaction that I was looking for. I think I end up miscounting, and you'll see later in the video that I get sort of ambushed as I'm trying to manipulate load zones because I didn't count my dropships correctly. Anyway, since we can't use Covenant weapons directly, one thing that we can do is use plasma grenades that are dropped on the ground. Whenever we kill, or sometimes when we kill elites or grunts, they'll drop plasma grenades, and while we can't pick them up and use them, we can use them as sort of mines, where once they're on the ground, if we cause an explosion near the plasma grenades, it will cause the grenades on the ground to explode, continuing the chain reaction and damaging things around it. When you see, so it's 4 dropships we have to clear. When you see that dropship come in, the one that comes in really close to your rock, you want to actually just drop behind your rock because you don't want the plasma turret on the spirit dropship to start shooting at you, that does a lot of damage very quickly, and if you're like me, you have no shields left. And because I miscounted my drop ships, I got ambushed by the enemies that the spirit ship dropped off. So, as you can see, I have very little pistol ammo right now, and very little health. I got about half health, and I'm freaking out a little bit because I thought that I was in the clear. So I have to be very, very careful. I see some grunts, and I get a little overzealous with my shooting, trying to secure the headshot because everyone was grouped together. Do manage to get one right there. Doesn't take out the elite like I hoped, but I know it damaged it. And there goes the last of my backup ammo. I have one mag left for my Magnum. So take your time, pick your headshots. I'm going to show you, I do run out of Magnum ammo, and I'm going to show you how I deal with that. Thankfully, it was on the last wave we had to deal with, and I got a couple of really good headshots that helped out with some elites. But only got, because of the recession skull, I got one shot left at this point. Hoping against hope to get one more headshot on a grunt and maybe take out an elite. I do manage to find my grunt, but don't get the headshot that I wanted. So here you see, I can't see the enemy, so I'm just kind of shooting with the assault rifle. Not a ton of ammo, but hopefully enough to rile them up. Come around the corner. Again, I get the feeling that there's an elite back there still, so I'm hoping he pops out just so I can keep track of him. Grunt comes around the corner. I was trying to close on him, but he throws a grenade. Having no shields and half health, I got to be very, very cautious. Still backing up, trying to play it safe. Because of the malfunction skull, I can't see that I had grenades, so I sort of forgot that I had grenades as an option. Throw one down there, and it took care of both of those grunts. The chain reaction did. So the next thing you want to do after you take care of the troops from that ship is you're going to turn around, and there's actually a little hidden ledge, and it's an invisible ledge right here on this, I don't know what you want to call it, ledge. And what you want to do is run at it and crouch jump. And by crouch jumping, you'll sort of slide up onto that shelf, and you'll be able to jump back up onto the level or the land above us. It does take a little while. As you can see, I'm not having a lot of luck right here. Get a little frustrated. There it is. You kind of slide up into that corner. And what you're going to do is you're going to actually start walking backwards, because the last two drop ships after you take out that spirit ship come in at the same time. And oh, you can see I cut to another run here. The two drop ships have dropped off their enemies, and they're coming towards me. I'm waiting. I'll explain what we're doing. The two drop ships that come in last start a timer where, after enough time has elapsed, Foehammer will contact you and tell you that she's looking for survivors, or she picked up your signal. So I was trying to kill some time. I had a couple grenades, got a nice overkill with those throws. Decided that I'm just going to backtrack, thinking I'm out of ammo, out of health, and I remember that there was a huge weapons dump right by where we started the level. So I'm hiking back, and it seems like that Foehammer doesn't contact you until you get back into the beginning of the level, back in this area. And there you go. Foehammer contacted you, and that means that all the enemies that were left from those first two drop ships have now despawned. They're gone completely, and Foehammer's going to come in and drop her Warthog so we can continue through the level. I would not recommend doing what I'm about to do. I had the brilliant thought that I could go and refill ammo and health and everything else from the original escape pod that we came into this level on. But what I didn't realize was that I thought that going forward in the level and triggering the load zones for the next round of reinforcements would nullify this first load zone. Well, that doesn't happen. I go across this footbridge like you're supposed to do, and I hit the load zone, and it loads in the enemies that were supposed to be at the very beginning of the level. And it causes a bunch of headaches. And this whole thing could have been avoided, because right after that first structure where the Marines were holding out, there is a dropship with all of this same ammo and health and grenades and everything that I could possibly need. And basically I just end up wasting time here because I am cornered by two Banshees, a Spirit dropship, 4 grunts, and an elite. So basically, don't do what I'm doing here. I just wanted to show you me being a bonehead and just proving that no matter what kind of mistakes you make when you're trying to do this, if you're diligent enough, you can still complete LASO. Anyway, so if you decide to just set out an extra challenge for yourself, I'm going to show you how to get through this part. These trees do block plasma fire, so you can see I'm sort of zigzagging in and out of the trees, trying to avoid the banshees from getting too many shots on me because I want to preserve what I have for shields. So moving up along the cliff, keeping an eye on those banshees. Don't waste ammo trying to take them down because they are very difficult to take down on LASO. You can see that I'm sort of tucking myself in the rocks here because they can't get a real good angle to start firing on me. Going to use the same strategy we were using, climb up on this rock, and I know that there's 4 grunts and 1 elite in this area, so take my time, wasting a little bit of ammo and time here, just trying to get my way through, being very, very cautious, trying to get those grunt headshots. The elite gets really aggressive and starts rushing my position, so I try using a couple of grenades to dissuade him from being here. I end up burning through grenades, which probably should have saved for later, but again, once we get back to where we were, we're going to have another resupply cache where we can pick up more grenades, more health, more ammo, basically whatever we need. So I see the elite. I thought he was dead with that 3rd grenade, but I missed him. And you can see the waypoint that just popped up here. It's that tells you where the Warthog is, so you're definitely all set to move to the next section. But yeah, for this area, again, this is all skippable. I was just not thinking when I did this run through, and doubling back on myself to get this ammo was just nothing but a waste of time and made life much more difficult than it had to be. So what you see me doing here is I'm trying to coax that elite to close the gap on me a little bit because I don't want to run out of shield and health. I'm down to 1 bar health, managed to get that melee just before he hits me to keep my shield up. He gets scared and runs away and sort of hides behind this rock, and I don't know if it was a glitch or what, but he just really didn't react for the first 2 melees, which gave me the advantage. But anyway, he's dead. I back down to no grenades. Thankfully, I have a little more ammo, but down to 1 little sliver of health, so I'm not really much further ahead than if I had just, charged forward rather than doubling back on myself. Anyway, so normally, if you were smart, not like me, you'd be right about here when the Warthog gets dropped by foe hammer, so you can just double back on yourself, move right back through to where we were. This all should look very familiar at this point. There's the rock on the right that we were using as our little camping spot to take out all the elites and all the grunts and all those reinforcements. And we're going to keep moving ahead here. We already robbed this cache up on top of the building once, but we'll go up just to grab whatever there is to grab. There should be 1 more health pack, which, as you can see, I really do need. And the nice thing about the health packs in Halo CE is that it will recharge your shields as well, so that's nice. I know I have full shields, full health. If I'm missing any ammo, I'm going to come over here, or if you used both of those health packs for some reason, you can come right over here to the escape pod that all the Marines came in on, and all this ammo is sitting here, another health pack. So you should be full on shields, full on health, full on ammo. You've got a gunner in your Warthog. You got a brand new Warthog to play with. So let's get going further into this level. Going to come down here. The geometry kind of pushes you into a ravine a little bit, just to guide you to where you're going. Going to come down this hill and take a right into this tunnel. Cortana's going to have some dialogue about the Covenant broadcasting tactical data on open networks, and so you know you're on the right path when that dialogue pops up. We're going to head through the tunnels here. Be careful of the jumps. You can actually roll the Warthog, get ejected, and damage yourself, so take it easy. I'm being a little reckless here because I was still frustrated off of the bonehead move I made on doubling back to the beginning of the level. Some people will take that jump right there, just kind of cut the gap and jump onto the ramp, but again, you can roll your Warthog, end up taking fall damage. It's just not worth it. Take the few extra seconds, drive all the way around. It's a lot safer. Jump this gap and keep heading forward. We're going to head into the control room for the light bridge next. So there's a lot of enemies in here, and what you want to do is charge straight down, try to take out a couple enemies if you can, but don't let it throw you off course. And kind of follow the path I'm taking. Try to take out that jackal. Don't come around the corner too fast because there is a ledge right there. Come right up to this wall, park your warthog, jump out, hop up onto the nose of the warthog, and then crouch jump once you're on the warthog, which you can see I'm having trouble with. And again, I'm panicking because I know there's tons of enemies all around us. Crouch jump up onto this ramp, this wall, jump the gap because there's elites right behind you. You can see they're shooting at me. Hit the light bridge switch, jump down. You can take a little bit of a longer jump because as the ramp slopes down, you're going to get more distance. So kind of jump that gap on the way back to cut down the amount of time you're exposed. Get in the warthog and just tear out of there. As you can see, I'm back down to one sliver of health yet again. Come all the way. I like to come all the way out here. You can make a hairpin turn, try to get back up onto the light bridge, but it's a lot safer to retrace your steps into that hallway, get yourself turned around with a full head of steam, and just head across the bridge. Makes it so you move a lot faster and you're a lot less likely to take fire from the Covenant troops that you just kind of drove by. So this is a pretty safe section here. Cortana has a little bit more dialogue about Captain Keyes put up a really good fight and got a lot of soldiers off or back onto the ring and saved the Pillar of Autumn. I'll use this opportunity to point out a few other things that you should know about LASO. Again, I mentioned it in the last video that the Iron Skull is on. Iron causes you to restart the level anytime you die when you're playing by yourself. If you're in co-op, if either one of you dies, it sets you back to the last checkpoint. And the easy workaround for this is that as soon as you die, and I mean literally as soon as you see that you are dead, hit start, save and quit, and then once you're back in the menus, go to resume, and it should bring you to your last checkpoint. This is going to work. This is basically going to nullify the Iron Skull. If you're not fast enough, you will get reset, and there's not much you can do about it. So it is very important that you pay attention and make sure that you're quick on that save and quit so you don't lose your progress. Okay, so we're out of the tunnels. We're coming up this river. We're going to cut across to the left here. There's another escape pod, and your gunner actually makes a comment about weapons being all over the place, but there's no survivors. So I hop out here. There is a med pack which I grab, grabbing more ammo, more frags, making sure I'm nice and full on everything. Then you're going to want to take your warthog and drive it up here. You're going to see a path to the left. These little lights on the ground indicate where you can go. I actually died, so I had to cut to a different run here, or a different attempt. Bring your warthog, your gunner up here, hop out, make sure he's pointed downhill, and he's going to start shooting at the enemies that are in those structures. Double back on yourself, and you're going to come all the way back to the escape pod to get a sniper rifle. Now, a few things that I need to mention at this point. You're going to hear me say juggling a lot. Now, juggling in Halo basically means taking 3 weapons or 2 weapons and continuously switching between them, where you throw one weapon ahead of you, then walk over it, switch weapons again, and continuously toss one weapon ahead of you so you can move all 3 weapons. The one that you have in your back pocket, plus the 2 that you have switching, you can move all 3 of these with you. Another thing you need to know is about the infinite ammo glitch and backpack reloading. Backpack reloading is when you reload a weapon, hit the reload button twice, then switch to your back pocket weapon, and the weapon will continue to reload while you have it in your back pocket. Not as important on LASO, as we're going to be using the infinite ammo glitch more, but it is helpful if you need to maintain a steady stream of fire on an enemy location. That way you always have a full weapon in your back pocket. The infinite ammo glitch is when you fire a weapon, when you reload, switch to another weapon, pick up another weapon on the ground, and you'll hear that the weapon that you were reloading, which is now on the ground, is going to go through the animation and the noises. And once the noise and animation stops, you'll see that the weapon, you can pick up the weapon and it'll be fully reloaded without using any of the ammo that you had in reserve. So this is most useful with the sniper rifle and the grenade launcher, not the grenade launcher, the rocket launcher, which you'll see me doing here. I mess up a couple of times, but because the Recession Skull's on, each sniper round takes 2 shots. You'll shoot once, shoot twice, start reloading, switch to the weapon that you're standing on, which for me is the assault rifle, and you can see I pick it back up, full ammo, and no ammo is gone out of my reserves. Again, shoot twice, switch to the assault rifle as it waits for the reload noise to stop, and you have yourself a sniper rifle with infinite ammo. So we're going to set up right next to our Warthog and try to take out as many of these enemies as we can down in the structures using this glitch. The gunner somehow got killed. I don't know if you saw that earlier in the video, but I went to pick up my my weapon on the ground and somehow got into the gunner seat of the Warthog, and when I did, the Marine just died. And I don't know if that was a glitch. It didn't look like he took any fire, but whatever happened, he's gone now, so it's just me. No more supporting fire from the chain gun, but that's okay because we basically have an unlimited amount of shots here to clean this up. So again, I'm struggling because I keep getting into the Warthog instead of switching my weapons, getting a little bit frustrated, a little bit annoyed, but I think that I've cleared out most of the enemies in this first structure, so you'll see I'm going to juggle my weapons kind of off to the right here, which you don't really need to do. I was just being very thorough because I'd had some, I've been struggling a little bit on this first part of the level. Wanted to make sure there was no enemies hiding around here, but continue to juggle over. I take my time and actually clean off some of the enemies from the structure in the middle of this little map, which you don't really need to do, but again, I was being very thorough because I didn't want to get ambushed by anything. You can see there's an elite and there's a couple of grunts up on top of that structure as well. I just keep using the infinite ammo glitch to, you know, make sure that I have plenty of ammo, because you do not want to run out of sniper ammo for this section. Sniper rifle becomes your best friend, and you can see that I'm switching between the assault rifle and the sniper rifle for the glitch. I have the Magnum in my back pocket still, which Magnum's always something that's useful to have on hand. It's got great stopping power, it's scoped, great for headshots, and on LASO you want all the headshots you can get. These elites were really giving me a hard time, so decided to, just more out of spite and frustration than anything, take the time to make sure they were dead. Saw a couple of enemies, I got their attention from across the map and they were sort of moving in on me, so decided to take a little bit more time, take them out, make sure they weren't going to be a pest later on. That elite's still up there, still frustrating me, and for whatever reason he just seems impervious to my sniper fire. So anyway, we're still just going to take time, take out this elite. He's just being such a pain right now. And you're going to see that I decide, he's not worth it. We're moving into the next part of the level. In order to clear this area, what we have to do is either rescue all of the Marines that are in the, basically, I call it the basement of this structure. It's underground. We either have to rescue them all, or sadly, all the Marines have to be dead. And since we don't have the time, or I don't want to take the time to clear literally every last enemy out of this area, we're going to be going for the sad, the Marines are dead way of clearing this area. So you don't need to be this thorough. What we're going to do to actually advance to the next area is we're going to run underground to where all the Marines are held up, and trigger a firefight in which the Marines are going to die. And we actually won't even end up going over onto that platform. But if you needed health, if you needed grenades, there is I believe there is some ammo to be had up on top of that structure. And if you had to, now that you have the infinite ammo glitch, you could clear out the entire area and resupply as needed. So anyway, we're going to come down between these pipes, down into this structure. There are some jackals down here, so I throw a grenade, see the score pop up, and got a grunt, which started a chain reaction, which is great. We love those chain reactions, makes life much easier. Heading down these hallways here, and you're going to see here are all the Marines that we're supposed to save, and there's a couple of footbridges here across the chasm. And if you just walk out, usually the jackals on the other side will spot you and start a firefight with the Marines. You can either hang out and kind of wait to see if all the Marines die. You can actually shoot a couple of the Marines if you want to speed things along, but these jackals usually rip them apart pretty quickly. So I hang out for a few minutes just because with my luck and the way that these last two levels on LASO have gone, the RNG has not been in my favor. So I want to make sure and see with my own eyes that the Marines are dead or at least losing. So at that point, I'm pretty sure there's only one left. Yep, okay, there he goes. Last one died. Cortana says we couldn't save any of them. There's no survivors. That's your cue to say, okay, I can move on. So we backtrack, back up through the pipes. I think they're pipes. I call them pipes. Back up to where our Warthog was. Make sure you have your Magnum and your sniper rifle. Get in the Warthog. If the Marine in the gunner seat hadn't died, we would have wanted to actually leave him behind at this point. So you can either just walk up and get into the gunner seat. He'll hop out and you can drive off. You could kill him if you wanted to. If you needed frags, he might have had some. But we're moving on into this next area. You go back across the river and into this area. This is the second lifeboat area. Try to hit the jackals as you drive by, but do not slow down. You're going to want to get through the forests, the trees, and come up on this hill. And as you can see, there's 3 Marines up here. If you haven't killed any of the Marines yet, you can go ahead and kill one of them. But I like to get 2 of them into the Warthog with me. And now that we have 2 of them in the Warthog, that considers 2 of the Marines as safe, quote unquote. So we could have killed that 3rd Marine by ourselves and just had him be dead, or we can wait for the Covenant to rush up and do our dirty work for us. So here I am, kind of hiding behind the rock, just waiting for that last Marine to die. He's being stubborn, being a great Marine, doing his best, making a valiant effort to hold off the Covenant. And I'm actually, again, getting a little frustrated because it's taking so long. But I'm looking and I don't see him. They're shooting at me, so I'm assuming that he's dead. Drive down here, don't slow down, stick to the wall. You won't take too much damage. Head back out through these lights, and you're going to, again, Cortana will say that we weren't able to save any. We need to move on to the next lifeboat. Head down the river, hook a left, and then head back up onto the land. You'll see that there is a tunnel or a cave, and we're going to move into this cave as it brings us to the 3rd and final lifeboat that we need to investigate, rescue, or save the Marines in. And what you're going to want to do is come into this area and stick to the leftmost wall. And it's going to be a little tricky to get through here, but you can actually shimmy your Warthog between this rock and the wall. Kind of got to get up on 2 wheels a little bit. Same thing, shimmy through this little space here, up on 2 wheels, and you're going to want to come all the way around to this big rock platform where the Marines are holding out. Up here there is a Marine with a sniper rifle, and what you want to do is get him into your passenger seat. Now, if you'd killed a lot of Marines, they might turn on you, but since I haven't killed any of them in this level, they're being very, very friendly. They're still our allies. And what you want to do is drive up with your passenger side as close to the Marine with the sniper rifle as possible. He should hop in. Once he's in, you are ready to go. We're going to retrace our steps, head down to the area where we came in, the sort of bottom level of this little, I don't know, cave map. It's not really a cave, but this map where the last lifeboat is. Head down here, shimmy back through between the walls, and you can see I almost tipped over there. Got a little scared that I was going to dump my Marines everywhere. Keep shimmying through, and then we're going to be out. Now, the nice thing, the reason you want this sniper Marine in your Warthog is that he is unbelievably good at taking out enemies. And what you're going to want to do is basically keep driving in a zigzag pattern to avoid getting shot, and let your gunner and your sniper do all the work here. They're going to do all the heavy lifting. You can try and get a few splatter kills here and there, but your primary focus at this point is keeping everybody in your Warthog alive by, again, driving in a zigzag pattern and letting the the Marines do a lot of the heavy lifting. The gunner on the back can shoot 360 degrees all the way around you. You can see he's swinging that turret around like crazy. But unfortunately, your sniper Marine is only able to shoot at about 180, well, probably not even that. I'd say maybe like 90-degree arc. So from like the front of your Warthog, the front left corner of your Warthog, to probably the back of the passenger door is what his range of fire is. So I try my best to keep him facing most of the enemies. So I'm trying to swing around, make sure that I'm either head on facing enemies or my right side, the right side of my Warthog is pointing towards them, so that my sniper and my turret gunner can lay fire into any of the Covenant that show up. The biggest threats in this area, there's 3 of them that you need to be aware of. Grunts throwing plasma grenades, because plasma grenades will not only do a ton of damage, but it will roll your Warthog, probably kill your Marines, and dump you out of your Warthog. So you want to avoid plasma grenades. 2 is the exploding grunts. Try not to splatter kill grunts, as they will explode when they get hit and act just like a plasma grenade. And because the boom radius is on, even if you're driving at full speed, you might not get out of the blast radius fast enough. And it may not flip you over, but it will damage your Marines, and you don't want to lose either of these guys now that you have this kind of weaponized Warthog going. The last thing is the turrets that are on the Spirit dropships. They do a lot of damage. They've got a pretty good rate of fire, but thankfully the plasma is very slow. So as long as you keep moving and you don't sit still, odds are they're not going to hit you. Just don't retrace your steps, meaning don't sit in one spot, drive, and just kind of drive back and forth in the same area, because the timing, it's happened to me before where my timing was just bad and I ended up in the same spot. After driving around, I ended up in the same spot that I was when the Spirit fired at me, and I actually took some plasma rounds, so like right there. So just stay away from that plasma fire. You won't take too much damage if it's only 1 or 2 stray rounds, but if you get locked into, like, behind a rock, or you get stuck on a tree or something, you're going to take a lot of damage very quickly, and we are right at the end of the level, so you really don't want to ruin your run here. So this last dropship drops off a bunch of enemies. This latest, I should say, not last. Dropship drops off a bunch of enemies, and they all come charging at us, which is nice because they come around that corner, and our sniper and our gunner can just mow them down as they come in. I drive back over here towards the rocks because that last Spirit dropship, and this should be the last one, kind of drops off right next to where the lifeboat was, or is, and there's a lot of trees over there, so it makes it hard to get in close to kill anything as they're coming off the ship. So I kind of stay in this area here, do a figure 8 pattern, just back and forth, big looping figure 8s to avoid plasma fire. That Marine on the back is doing a great job of mowing down the enemies for us. So the sniper's chipping in when I give him the angle to fire. And the nice thing, if you've noticed, is that because you're driving the Warthog, for some reason the game counts it as being your kill, so you're still getting points. Not that LASO difficulty is about points by any means, but you're still able to see when your Marines get a kill for you, because the medals are still popping up, the score's still popping up. So, oof, that was not needed, Mr. Jackal, but he got splattered for it, so I think we got the better of that exchange. As I was saying, you can see the score, so you know when your allies are getting kills for you in the Warthog, and it'll help when we get down to the last few enemies and you're not sure if they're hitting them or just firing, because the Marines have aggroed onto the enemies in the rocks. So again, big looping figure 8s, taking a little bit of plasma fire. I'm getting a little bit antsy because I just want to finish up the level, so I'm taking a few more risks, not being quite so conservative with my driving. Start to kind of close in a little bit more, since I know that's where the last few enemies are. And yeah, just let your Marines do the work. There's no real other strategy to this, other than keep moving, let your Marines do the heavy lifting. I'm pretty sure everyone's dead at this point, so I decide to, just for no reason at all, I just decide to hop out and grab a health pack. Oh, I guess there are still a few enemies left. But once Cortana starts talking, or Foehammer starts talking, you know that you've cleared everybody out. Foehammer comes in with her dropship or her Pelican, I mean, and will pick up the survivors. And that's pretty much it. You've successfully, if you made it to this point, successfully completed the second level of Halo CE on the LASO or LASO difficulty. The next level is of Truth and Reconciliation, which is probably the hardest level in CE on LASO, but once we get that out of the way, we're over the hump, so to speak, and the rest of the levels are going to get a little bit easier. But that's it for this time, guys. Thank you for watching. If you liked what you saw, please like, subscribe, comment, let us know you were here. Next time we're going to be tackling the Truth and Reconciliation. This is Blades of God from Hammer Bros Gaming. Have a great day, everyone.